Welcome to another Monday Blitz. Today, as we look at yet another chapter in the saga, the narrative there in 1 Samuel, we come to an interesting story, the story of David's struggle and Saul's struggle to deal with their choices. How do they respond to their choices? How do they reflect and consider how their choices impact the lives of those around them? Made me stop and consider my own life, the choices I make, how they impact people, whether it's words I say in a sermon or the way I interact with people, decisions made at a church board. Every one of these things that I do in my life, it has a greater impact than just my own life. And as in the story with David, as David had fled and talked to the priest, now Saul kills these priests for their interaction with David. And then David turns around and is there protecting individuals who have had very difficult lives. They are in debt. They are wanted. It's the who's who of what we would think of as the bad parts of society, it would appear. And David befriends these folks and unites them together. It says there are 400 of them. And yet in doing this, he creates another difficult setting. And so I wonder, how many times do the decisions I make, do I reflect on what the impact those will have? Am I so focused on myself that the decisions I make, I do not consider their impact on other people? So as I consider for my life, and I hope you're considering for yours, I ask the question of you, what is it that helps you decide what you will do, how you will treat people, how you respond to people, what you say, whether maybe it's a social media post or it's something you say at church or in the workplace, those actions that we say, those things we do, what is it behind it? What's motivating us to do those things? And have we thought about the repercussions upon other people? An entire city dies because of David's choice, his desperation, his running from Saul, and I would say even a lack of trusting God. Now, does God intervene? Does God protect him? Yes, God intervenes. He does protect him. But in the process, so many people are hurt. And David feels that guilt welling up within him as he realizes the cost of his decisions. As we go around in our day, let us stop and consider what is the cost to others as well as to ourselves. But let's think beyond ourselves. Let's think of others first. Let's think of what it is in their lives. What will the impact be to their lives from my decisions? Let us not act and then have to figure out how to deal with our actions. What if we were to think first? I know that sounds like something we might say to our teenagers, our children. You got to think first before you act. But I think it probably is a good reminder for us as adults as well. So whether you're a young person listening or an adult listening, try this week to think before you act. Think before you speak. Consider others' well-being in what you have to say. Are you going to lift them up? Are you going to tear them down? Are you going to put somebody at risk for your own sake? In all these things, think of how it was with David. There he was. He was running from Saul. And in thinking of himself first, he ends up leading an entire community to death. I hope none of our decisions are making those kind of impacts in a negative way. But even in our day-to-day lives, let us consider what it is we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we can be used by God for greater good, not less.